Part 159. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1581. Fang Fan was secretly delighted. Is it still possible to operate like this? This seems to be somewhat hopeful. Wouldn't it be possible for me to be promoted to a 4th-rank archbishop by beheading a few 3rd-rank red-robed dark angels in the Dark Temple? What if you kill a 2nd-rank cardinal dark envoy of the Dark Temple? The corners of Fang Fan's mouth raised slightly, and he suddenly felt very happy. Nangonglei. Nangonglei glanced at Fang Fan first, and suddenly felt that he didn't know whether to say MMP or not. Are young people now so inflated? Killing a few 3rd-grade red-robed dark angels in the Dark Temple at every turn? Even the 2nd-rank cardinal dark angel dare to covet? Little friend Fang Fan, this kind of character is usually not easily shot, so even on the battlefield, it is very difficult to appear. Don't think too much about it. Instead of thinking about this, it's better to think about destroying a few more branches of the Dark Temple. Destroying a branch of the Dark Temple is also a great honor. Nangonglei said earnestly from the side. To be honest, if Fang Fan hadn't said such a thing, he would have cursed just now. After all, he is too pretentious. But after seeing Fang Fan, Nangonglei felt that it might not be impossible. Heroes are born in the battle of gods, and this is also a great opportunity to accumulate battle honors. Fang Fan nodded secretly, and silently wrote it down in his heart. Holy Office, here we come. Don't act rashly later, everything will be arranged by me. Nangonglei exhorted from the side, and then looked at Duanmueding on the side. Lord Duanmu, according to the previous agreement, we should jointly recommend Fang Fan. Nangonglei reminded directly. Duanmueding gritted his teeth, although he was very unwilling in his heart, but at this moment, he could only drive the ducks to the shelves. After all, there is still a handle in the hands of others. Even if you are reluctant, you can only bite the bullet. Duanmueding let out a heavy hum, and then stepped faster and faster. Walking into the priesthood hall, there were quite a few people who greeted them. Looking around, priests wearing various robes can be seen everywhere. Most of them are wearing white and gray robes, and some are in blue and green robes. As for the red and purple robes, they are more expensive. Several people walked a distance in front, and then stopped in front of a white-haired old man in a pale gold robe. At this moment, both Duanmueding and Nangonglei respectfully saluted, Sage Dongguo. Fang Fan stood in the back row and followed suit. You, an acting cardinal and a cardinal, why are you here at the same time? The white-haired old man sat cross-legged on the futon, talking without even opening his eyes. This kind of behavior is considered rude to a certain extent. After all, talking to you without opening your eyes seems a little bit wrong. However, Duanmueding and Nangonglei didn't dare to take the slightest blame. Instead, their postures were lowered, and their expressions became more respectful. Sage Dongguo, the Temple of Faith has tested a 10th-level God believer. He stayed in the pool of faith for 3 days and 3 nights. Now I and the Deputy Cardinal of Duanmu jointly recommend him to join the Temple of the Light Alliance, and ask the Holy One of Dongguo to give him the priesthood. Nangonglei organized the language, and then explained the specific situation clearly. The white-haired old man, who was originally as stable as Mount Tai, suddenly opened his eyes, and golden rays of light shone in his eyes. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1582. Hiss. When Fang Fan suddenly saw the golden light, he subconsciously gasped. The golden light was too dazzling. A believer in God. Stayed in the pool of faith for 3 days and 3 nights? No. That's impossible. Did you make any omissions? Or did you lie to me? The white-haired old man scanned Duanmueding and Nangonglei with golden eyes, and then said with a muffled grunt. "Don't dare, how dare you deceive Dongguo Saint? Everything we said is true, we saw it with our own eyes at the time. By the way, when he came out of the pool of faith, his cultivation base was promoted to a level, and he was still sleeping at that time, as if he had not been oppressed at all." Nangonglei quickly explained. The white-haired old man narrowed his eyes and focused on Duan Muading. Duan Muading didn't want to talk nonsense at first, but the Lord Saint had already noticed him, so he could only bite the bullet and say, "What the Archbishop Nangong Hong I said is true." The white-haired old man fell into deep thought for a while, and then looked at Fang Fan a few times. Could it be the reincarnation of the true God? Or, the Son of God? Interesting. The white-haired old man stood up silently, stood up from the futon, and secretly ordered a movie, with a fluctuating look in his eyes. "Young man, what's your name?" The white-haired old man smiled and looked at Fang Fan. "My name is Fang Fan." Fang Fan pretended to be pious and said, "Fang Fan. Well, then why did you join the Temple of the Alliance of Light? Is it power? Or the Star Core? Or other treasures? Beauty?" The white-haired old man laughed and talked, and there was a different kind of temptation mixed with his words. Fang Fan took a deep breath, and his teeth chattered. "I don't know why, but when I saw the white-haired old man in front of me, I wanted to shake off all the secrets in my heart. This feeling is very strong. This guy, something is wrong. This method of fooling people has reached its peak." Fortunately, at the critical moment, Fang Fan mobilized some power of faith to protect his body, avoiding being directly eroded by the sea of consciousness. "Join the Temple of the Alliance of Light and serve the gods of light to the end. I have established a contract with the gods in the name of the gods. I would like to dedicate all my loyalty to the gods of light. I would like to serve the gods of light forever. I would like to be immersed in the light all the time. This heart will not change, yes, for eternity." Violating the contract, the body dies and the Deo disappears, and the soul goes straight to the 18th floor of hell. The pious look on Fang Fan's face became more and more intense. He could tell that the white-haired old man in front of him was not easy to fool, or that this guy himself was the originator of the foolish world. In front of such an existence, we must take out the trump card. Ding. Detected a trace of divine power intruding into the host sea of consciousness, activate the antivirus system. Ding. Antivirus successful. Ding. The contract is invalid for the host. Fang Fan has his own antivirus system, and the contracts of gods and devils are all invalid. It seems that this ability is useless, but if it is used well, it will definitely get twice the result with half the effort. Good, very good. The cause of light needs a loyal believer like you. Can resist my faith challenge. You are indeed not simple. Welcome to the Temple of the Alliance of Light. From today onwards, you are the 5th rank bishop of the Temple of the Alliance of Light. Give out the 5th rank bishop uniform. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1583. The white-haired old man suddenly yelled, his face slowly smiling. Obviously, Fang Fan got away with it. And he was directly awarded the 5th rank bishop. Nangonglei on the side showed a surprised look on his face. According to his expectation, even if Fang Fan had the status of a believer and was recommended by him and Duan Muading, it would be good if he could get a 6th rank high priest or deputy 5th rank acting bishop. Oh, I didn't expect to be directly promoted to the level of a 5th rank bishop. Among the practitioners who have joined the Temple of the Alliance of Light in history, Fang Fan is definitely the existence with the highest initial level. Nangonglei was pleasantly surprised, but Duan Muading looks sad. The more attention Fang Fan receives, the more dangerous he is. Sage Dongguo, this is not appropriate. He just joined the Temple of the Alliance of Light just now. According to the usual practice, it is very good to confer the priesthood of a 6th rank high priest, and a 5th rank bishop, isn't it too much? Duan Muading lowered his head, and then said something silently. To put it bluntly, he was upset and jealous. Are you teaching me how to do things? The white-haired old man glanced directly at Duan Muading, his eyes were cold. With just one glance, Duan Muading was already covered in cold sweat, with beads of sweat rolling down his forehead, appearing very frightened. No. Don't dare, Dongguo Shen's words are serious. I think it's not in line with the convention, there is no other meaning. Duan Muading swallowed a mouthful of saliva, he was really scared just now. Humph. Conventions. Where are there so many conventions? God believers have some privileges, as it should be. If you are not convinced, you can also go to the pool of faith and stay for 3 days and 3 nights. No. You don't need 3 days and 3 nights, just 8 or 9 hours, can you do it? You can be an acting cardinal of the 2nd rank, why can't he confer the title of bishop of the 5th rank? The white-haired old man scolded as he spoke. Duan Muading didn't dare to say a word, he lowered his head, cowardly like a dog. Wouldn't it be death to contradict the person in front of you? He hasn't gotten to that level yet. Thank you, Lord Saint. Fang Fan saluted respectfully. People respect me afoot, and I respect others afoot. He felt the kindness of the Dongguo Saint in front of him. It is indeed a miracle that he was conferred the title of 5th rank bishop when he joined the Temple of the Alliance of Light for the first time. For the clergy of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, it is also incredible. Especially those priests who were in the Temple of the Priesthood at this moment, suddenly exploded. I'm going, who is this guy? He is so favored by the Dongguo Saint. The first time he was conferred the priesthood is the 5th rank bishop. It took me 100,000 years to get to this position. That seems to be the boss who was in the Temple of Faith before. It is said that he stayed in the pool of faith for 3 days and 3 nights. It's so terrifying. 3 days and 3 nights? This is indeed a werewolf. I can't even survive 5 hours. The gap is not too big. Hey, is there such a high level of treatment for a high level of faith? It's not fair. It's so unfair. I have been in the temple for thousands of years, and I am still a 10th rank priest. Why is he a 5th rank archbishop? If you can stay in the pool of faith for 3 days and 3 nights, you can too. Convinced, this is the proud son of heaven, with so much attention from Dongguo Saint, I am afraid that it will not take 1,000 years to be promoted to another level. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1584. Fang Fan has long been used to the voices of envy, jealousy, and hatred, this is the norm. From a comprehensive point of view, not being envied by others is a mediocrity, although this sentence is a bit one-sided, it also represents the vast majority of situations. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, and then took over the pure green 5th grade bishop uniform. Life must be a little green in order to live a decent life. It's a good thing that I started to turn green as soon as I entered the Temple of the Alliance of Light. Master Dongguo Saint, I don't know what is the specific arrangement of Bishop Fang Fan's priesthood. Is it a military job or a civilian job? Nangonglei continued to ask. Fang Fan was stunned for a moment, military or civilian. What's the difference? As if feeling the fire in Fang Fan's eyes, Nangonglei immediately said directly, Bishop Fang Fan has just joined the temple, and he may not know that the general military position of the clergy is to lead the army to fight, and will be assigned to the major legions of the temple, serving important positions in. As for civil servants, they are generally arranged in temples, responsible for spreading beliefs, appeasing believers, and communicating with gods. After Nangonglei explained it again, Fang Fan nodded secretly, almost understanding it. To put it bluntly, if you are awarded a military post, you can go out to fight on the battlefield. But if you are granted a civil position, you are basically limited to staying in this temple of the Alliance of Light. Undoubtedly, the military profession is suitable for sprinting and building more battle honors. By then, the promotion level should be very fast, but the corresponding risk factor will be much higher, especially at this time. If not, he would die on the spot. The civil servants basically stayed in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, protected by Tuan Tuan, and the risk factor was almost zero. Under normal circumstances, ordinary clergy should choose civilian jobs. The catastrophe is imminent, the battle of the gods is imminent, there is no danger at all in the temple, and it will be cold when they charge forward. And if the war of gods wins, they, as the behind-the-scenes personnel, can also get a lot of battle honors, but if they really lose, their responsibility is not very great. From a security point of view, it is basically a win-win situation. Of course, there is another obvious disadvantage of choosing a civilian job, that is, the speed of accumulating battle honors is too slow. For those who want to gain qualifications, this method is naturally excellent, but Fang Fan is different, he wants to sprint, he wants to quickly accumulate battle honors, and then he is full of anger. Facing Nangonglei's question, the white-haired old man Dongguo Shenge did not answer directly, but focused his attention on Fang Fan. What do you think? You can say it. As a believer in God, you have this privilege. No matter where you choose to stay, I will satisfy you. Dongguo Shenge smiled calmly, no longer in the cold state before, on the contrary, he seemed to have a sense of intimacy. Master Saint, I choose the military position. The war of gods has broken out. I want to go to the front and kill the cultivators of the Dark Temple, and fight to the death for the great gods of light. I will contribute my strength to the victory of the great gods of light. I would like to use my body to return with victory. What Fang Fan said was a righteous speech, sonorous and powerful. All in all, it looks bold from every angle. The admiration in Dongguo Saint's eyes became more and more intense. As for Nangonglei at the side, he was full of emotion. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1585. Although Nangonglei guessed that Fang Fan would choose this way, he was still somewhat worried. Entering the temple for the first time, if you can stay in the temple for 100 years, it will not be too late to go out after getting familiar with everything. He was dragged out just after he was granted the position of God, and it seemed more or less urgent. I'll tell you the truth, when the War of Gods broke out, the survival rate of the priests sent to the major temple legions did not exceed 50%. That is to say, if you make such a decision at this moment, there is a high probability that you will die. You are a believer in God, the pride and pillar of the Temple of the Alliance of Light. I think you should think about it carefully, and it will not be too late to make this choice when your wings are stronger. Saint Dongguo hesitated for a moment, then let out a sigh. From his point of view, I still hope that Fang Fan can think about it carefully, the various situations involved in this seem quite complicated. Lord Saint, I've already made up my mind. For the victory of God's war, I'm willing to devote myself to death. As long as the war of gods can be won, what's the point even if I die? Sacrifice the small self, win the big self. Fang Fan held his head high, his posture proud, he had said everything, and he had expressed his position on what should be expressed. In terms of acting, Fang Fan has never lost. Anyway, I have already decided to become a military officer. Before that, it would be great to be sensational and increase the favorability of several big bosses. Good. 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 Saint Dongguo said 3 times in succession. His eyes were full of sincerity, and while speaking, he nodded more and more. I have a young man like you in the Temple of the Light Alliance, so why worry about being invincible? If all the clerics in my Temple of the Alliance of Light can be as generous as you and sacrifice their lives, I am afraid that the War of Gods will be over as soon as it begins. A believer in God is really extraordinary. Saint Dongguo nodded one after another. The excitement on his face was beyond words, and this feeling became more and more real. Fang Fan smiled implicitly. He knew that his plan worked. Duan Muading, are there any vacancies for inspectors among the major legions of the temple? Find me a vacancy for an inspector of the Bronze Rank Legion. Saint Dongguo said immediately. Bronze Rank Legion? Lord Saint, the Bronze Rank Legion is a second-tier legion. According to normal circumstances, it needs a deputy 4th rank acting archbishop to be qualified to take the position of inspector. This, not very suitable, right? Duan Muading gritted his teeth. A look of jealousy could not help showing on his face. Lord Saint is really kind to this guy? Is it really appropriate to be directly assigned to the 2nd level Bronze Legion for a 5th rank bishop who was just conferred with a priesthood, and now has a low priesthood and a high-ranking bishop? How? Are you questioning my decision? Saint Dongguo narrowed his eyes secretly, and stared at Duan Muading again, looking very dissatisfied. This guy disobeyed him one after another, which was really noisy. No. Not dare, of course not. The Saint of Dongguo is wise. Among the major Bronze Legions at present, it seems that only the 308th Bronze Rank Legion under the 3rd Silver Rank Legion of the Qinglong Gold Rank Legion still lacks a supervisor. In the previous battle, the supervisor of this Bronze Rank Legion returned. The embrace of the true God. Duan Muading immediately said that under the intimidation of Dongguo Saint, he could only choose to submit. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1586. While Duan Muading was talking, a coldness flickered in his eyes. Nangong lay on the side frowned subconsciously. Lord Duan Muo, if I remember correctly, this bronze-ranked legion suffered a heavy blow, and it is basically in a half-disabled state now. Nangong lay immediately exposed Duan Muading's intentions. To put it bluntly, I just want to assign Fang Fan a bronze-ranked legion with a spicy chicken point. The quality of the legion directly determines the number of battle honors that can be established in the future. It is difficult for such a half-disabled or even almost completely disabled legion to directly restore its establishment in a short period of time. If this is the case, when the war is approaching, not only may it not be able to establish a battle honor, but it may also suffer infinite punishment for various reasons. If this is the case, this matter becomes more serious. Nangong Red Clothes Archbishop, what do you mean? This bronze-level legion is a subordinate of the Qinglong Gold-level legion, and it has always been the elite legion of our Temple of the Light Alliance. You say that, isn't it a bit too much? This is a legion of heroes. It just encountered some setbacks. According to you, it seems to be an existence that is about to be abandoned. This is too chilling for the soldiers. We are now sending an inspector in the past, which can also play a role in stabilizing the morale of the army. Bishop Fang Fan is even a rare believer in God. He will definitely be able to boost their morale and lead them to create glory again. Duan Muading made a lot of noises, which can be summed up in one sentence: you must go to this place, otherwise you will look down on these dead legionnaires. They all started moral kidnapping directly. Duan Muo. Nangong Lei wanted to say something more, but was held back by Fang Fan. He noticed that Dongguo Shen's expression was not quite right. Fang Fan knew that although the Dongguo Saint was very optimistic about him now, he was only second to him, and he hadn't reached that point in wanting him to do something for himself wholeheartedly. If this matter continues to quarrel, I am afraid that the result will not change. In this case, it is better to go with the flow and at least earn some impression points. Sage Dongguo, I am willing to go to the 308 Bronze Legion under the Azure Dragon Legion. Fang Fan held his head high, looking very sincere. Sure enough, I didn't misread you. Relevant letters of appointment will be sent to you later, Bishop Fang Fan. I hope you will not disappoint me. I hope you can stick to your oath and promise. I'll wait for your triumphant return. Saint Dongguo nodded, looking very satisfied, while talking, showing frequent smiles. Even if this matter is finalized. Nangonglei opened his mouth, wanting to say something more, but Fang Fan had already chosen to agree, so he could only remain silent. Fang Fan rolled his eyes suddenly, and then smiled slightly. Sage Dongguo, there is one thing I would like to ask for your permission. Fang Fan smiled sincerely, and then said, if you have any request, feel free to ask, as long as I can agree, it's fine. Saint Dongguo had a good impression of Fang Fan at the moment, so it didn't matter if he agreed to a few conditions. That's it? When I came to the Holy City of Light, I brought nearly 100,000 personal guards. I hope that I can continue to command. In addition, I have already formed an alliance with the Chen Tian family and the Tianhu family before. I hope to continue to fight with them in a unified way. I wonder if they can all be assigned to the battle order of the 308th Bronze Level Army of the Azure Dragon Army. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1587. Fang Fan thought to himself, then spoke directly. Since we are allies, we should naturally support each other. Not to mention that the head of the Chen Tian clan is still his father-in-law, and the Tianhu clan has helped him a lot before, and Fang Fan is not the kind of person who doesn't care at all. Chen Tian family. Tianhu family. How many people do they have? What level of power? Saint Dongguo pondered secretly, and did not directly refuse, but asked correspondingly. It seems that he wanted to consider it comprehensively, and the current situation made there are too many things to consider. The Chen Tian family is a third-rank force, and the Tianhu family is a branch of the third-rank force, the 10,000 Clan Alliance. At best, it is equivalent to a fourth-rank force. Fang Fan nodded and said sincerely that this is not a big secret. Third-rank forces, that is to say, there are hundreds of thousands of troops in the Emperor's realm. Who, Bishop Fang Fan, do you know that the 308th Bronze Rank Legion of the Qinglong Gold Rank Legion you went to has only 1 million soldiers? Of course, all the soldiers of such an elite legion are from the Emperor's realm. The Chen Tian family can't be dispatched to you, the pressure on the frontal battlefield is too great. As for the 100,000 guards under your command and the Sky Fox clan, you can control them as you like. Saint Dongguo immediately made relevant arrangements. Fang Fan nodded, but didn't say much. He also knew that this should be the limit he could accept. A third-rank force like the Chen Tian family is not very strong in the battle of gods, but if it is weak, it is not weak at all. After all, there are tens of millions of true king-level soldiers and hundreds of thousands of emperor-level elites to help. At the beginning, Fang Fan just wanted to sit on the ground and bargain, but now he can get the control of the Emperor's Legion, the Slaves' Legion, and the Tianhu clan, which is also very good. Thank you, Lord Saint. The subordinates will definitely be heartbroken to repay the kindness of Lord Saint. Whatever is disgusting, just say it. Although Fang Fan was trembling all over while saying this, and goosebumps arose in an instant, but his attitude must be shown. If you want to lurk and become the strongest boss of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, you still have to suffer a little bit. Well, that's great. Go down and get ready. Saint Dongguo nodded, and then continued to sit cross-legged on the futon, appearing silent. Fang Fan was walking on the road, and whispers followed closely behind him. Hey, a good hand of cards is poorly played. Since they are all God believers, they can be promoted again after staying in the Temple of the Alliance of Light for hundreds of years. If there is a chance for promotion, he will definitely give priority to him, and he actually wants to be sent to a subordinate legion as an inspector. I really can't figure it out. I can understand if I'm in the Bright Legion, but the 308th Bronze Legion of the Azure Dragon Legion, let's not talk about it. Aha, tell me, what is the situation? You are telling me, you want to kill us. A cousin of my cousin's uncle's godfather's son's cousin was in the 308th Bronze Legion of the Azure Dragon Legion. It is said that the 308th Bronze Legion is already disabled, and it has not been replenished yet. A Bronze Legion with a full staff of 1 million people, less than 10% of the soldiers are still capable of fighting, that is, there are only 100,000 soldiers who can fight, and the remaining 900,000, 500,000 died in battle, and 400,000 were seriously injured. I can no longer go to the battlefield. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1588. Walking in the crowd, one after another shouts followed, and Fang Fan's eyes gradually became sharper and more exciting. Through these chats, he was able to figure out part of the situation. The Azure Dragon army that he is about to take office has revealed the relevant situation of the 308 Bronze Legion. In the Temple of the Alliance of Light, in addition to the relevant priests, there are several legions. The specific divisions are the 5 gold level legions, namely the Bright, Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Suzaku, and Suanwu legions. Below the gold ranks, there are also silver, bronze, and black iron ranks. The Black Iron Legion is also known as the First Class Legion, the lowest level legion, with a staff of 100,000 people. Control 10 battle groups. The Bronze Level Legion is also known as the Second Level Legion, with a staff of 1 million people and 10 Black Iron Legions under its control. The Silver Level Legion is also known as the Third Level Legion, with tens of millions of people, and 10 Bronze Legions under its jurisdiction. The Gold Legion is currently the highest level legion in the Temple of the Light Alliance, also known as the Fourth Level Legion or the Top Level Legion. It governs 100 million people and 10 silver legions. In these 5 gold level legions, all the soldiers are basically emperors, and they can be said to be all elites. These 5 major legions are also the absolute elite combination of the Light Alliance Legion. The Legion of the Alliance of Light is able to command several forces in the Light Camp not only by the belief in the gods of light and all kinds of nonsensical flickers. If the guns of the Temple of the Alliance of Light were not strong enough, it would have been overthrown long ago. Little friend Fang Fan, you are too reckless. There is nothing wrong with you choosing a military position, but at least you have to choose a slightly better army to station in. And Lord Saint has already promised you the position of supervisor of the Bronze Legion. Why are you so impatient? Nangonglei said on the side, quite a feeling of hating iron but not steel. Nangong Red Clothes Archbishop, do you really know how much that Lord Saint thinks of me? At that time, the sage was already bored. If I continue to be ignorant of praise, maybe that point of impression will be gone, and I will eventually go to the 308th Bronze Legion of the Azure Dragon Legion. Rather than that, it's better for me to file a complaint myself, at least I can save some face for each other. Fang Fan said softly, his eyes became more and more earnest, he naturally understood this truth. Nangonglei was stunned for a moment, and then suddenly recalled, with an unbelievable look in his eyes. According to his recollection just now, this is indeed the case. Phew, it's me who has a picture. Little friend Fang Fan, your powers of observation and acumen are unmatched. But this time, I'm going to the 308th Bronze Legion of the Azure Dragon Legion to be the supervisor, so be careful. Now that the War of Gods has completely broken out, if you stay in such a legion, some accidents may happen, so don't be negligent. Nangong Liege said earnestly. After saying this, Nangong Lei glanced around, and when he saw the Duanmu tripod, his eyes sank a little. This time, this Duanmu tripod has been completely offended, so be careful when the time comes to prevent him from make trouble behind your back. In case of any situation, please let me know anytime. Nangong Lei exhorted carefully from the side. Fang Fan nodded secretly, still quite grateful in his heart. He and Nangong Lei have not been together for a short time, but Nangong Lei's help to him is indeed sincere. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1589. Congratulations to Bishop Fang Fan on his appointment as the Bronze Supervisor. In the future, we will have to rely on Bishop Fang Fan. The safety of the temple and the holy city is up to Bishop Fang Fan. Cardinal Nangong Lipi, Deputy 2nd Grade Acting Cardinal of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, walked over with a smile on his face, and the sarcasm in his eyes was obvious as he spoke. In the mind, this feeling seems very real. He. Of course there is no problem with this. I just hope that Mr. Duanmu will keep himself clean in the future. Educate those under his command well, so that they will not be dragged into the water and become a shame for the temple. That would be bad. Fang Fan shrugged. Faced with this guy's deliberate ridicule, he chose to fight back, so there was no problem at all. Everything that should be said has to be said. So what's the matter with the deputy 2nd rank acting as the cardinal? It's fine if you don't offend. If you really offend, then offend to the end. Snored. Sharp teeth. Just wait and see. Duanmu Ding walked away with a flick of his sleeves, his face turning ashen. He didn't dare to make a big deal about this kind of extortion of bribes, and kept a low profile as king. Seeing Duanmu Ding leave, Fang Fan turned his head to look at Nangong Lei again. Nangong Hong Archbishop, what kind of existence is this Dongguo saint? You all seem to be very polite to him. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, and a strange look appeared on his face. In his memory, after the 3rd rank cardinal archbishop is the 2nd rank cardinal, and after that, isn't he the highest ranking pope? Under the pope's crown is the 1st rank priesthood, and the saint is the negative 1st rank priesthood. In other words, his status is second only to the pope's crown. If the pope abdicates, there is a high probability that the next successor will be selected from among those noble saints. The saints have a high status in the temple, and there are only a few of them left. Now that you have left an impression with Dongguo Saint, you can communicate more. If you can handle the relationship with Dongguo Saint, it will be of great benefit to you in the future. In the temple, it's too difficult to climb up little by yourself. Only when there is a strong man covering it, can you be considered full of arrogance. Nangong Lei sighed softly, while speaking, his eyes gradually became pure, as if he had a lot of feelings. There is a high probability that I have suffered these hardships before, so I feel a little sad about the past. Fang Fan nodded secretly, expressing his understanding. While walking out the door, Fang Fan also changed into the pure green uniform of the 5th rank bishop. The green is a little green, but it is quite suitable to wear, and even, this is a low-level quasi-sage uniform. It has to be said that the Temple of the Alliance of Light is indeed quite luxurious. 2 pieces of this bishop's uniform were issued together. In addition, there are related letters of appointment and identity tokens. A 5th rank bishop with an annual salary of 3,000 star cores. This is the relevant salary that Fang Fan will be able to receive every day. 3,000 star cores can be said to be more or less. There are so many years in a year, what about hundreds of thousands of years or even 10,000 years? After all, there are indeed more seniors in the temple. There are many priests of various kinds in the temple of the Alliance of Light, and the annual salary alone is a huge expenditure. However, it also sets off from the side that this temple is indeed profound. Many people have joined the temple, and after eating this bowl of rice, they are never willing to quit. Isn't this golden rice bowl delicious? Stable, down to earth, high probability and no risk. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1590. The 308th Bronze Legion of the Qinglong Legion is stationed in the southeast of the Qingtian Sanctuary. There are often small-scale dark camp troops infiltrating there, so a part of the army must be placed to avoid any accidents. Before going to the 308th Bronze Legion of the Azure Dragon Legion to take up the post, it is better to use up the more than 2.8 million contribution points in your hands first. Fang Fan thought to himself that he didn't know what he would encounter during this trip, and it would be great to be able to improve his overall strength first. In the Temple of the Alliance of Light, there is an exclusive hall of contributions. As the name suggests, this hall is used to process related contribution points. In the bright contribution order, it is divided into total contribution points and remaining contribution points. Total contribution points is all contribution points you have earned throughout. The remaining contribution points are the contribution points that can still be used at present. For example, Fang Fan has obtained a total of 20,000 contribution points, but used up 10,000 in the middle, then his total contribution points are still 20,000, but the remaining contribution points are 10,000. Standing at the gate of the Hall of Contribution, there was a sea of people, and it looked extremely chaotic. The number of cultivators who came in and out was even more unknown, not only the clergy of the Temple of the Light Alliance, but also the cultivators of all major forces. When they got together, one can imagine the degree of chaos. Fang Fan, who was wearing a green robe, walked in front, but no one dared to stop him. Anyway, the green robe of the 5th rank bishop still has a certain deterrent effect. Hall Master Fang Fan. Suddenly a figure came flying over in the distance. At first glance, he was somewhat familiar, but when he got closer, he could see his entire face clearly. Hao Yun. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, and then called out. The white-clothed young man in front of him is Hao Yun, the son of the pavilion master of the Haoshan Pavilion. Fang Fan had captured him alive when he was in the human plane before, and exchanged him for millions of people in the human race. I have seen it before in the Temple of Faith, and now it is the second time I have seen it in the Temple of Faith. What's up? Fang Fan's expression was indifferent, and others could not see his face clearly. Speaking of which, they should be in a state of hostility at the moment. Fang Fan had a gambling fight with Hao Zhan, another son of the pavilion master of the Haoshan Pavilion, and Fang Fan also won 500,000 star cores and several coins. The total value of the holy transformation pill even exceeds 1,000,000 star cores. Fang Fan didn't quite understand why this guy came to him. Yes, that's right. My third brother Hao Zhan offended Hall Master Fang Fan before. I apologize on his behalf. I also hope that you will not remember the villain's mistakes, forgive him for his actions. Hao Yun gritted his teeth, then lowered his head and said. Fang Fan curled his lips, a stern look flickered in his eyes, and then became flat. To be honest, he really didn't take it to heart. As long as he doesn't come to provoke me, I don't have the time to find him. Anything else? It's okay, I'll go first. Fang Fan shrugged and said very sincerely. Hall Master Fang Fan, go slowly, there is one more thing. I want to serve under your command and follow you to the 308th Bronze Legion of the Azure Dragon Legion. I have been conferred the priesthood of non-advanced preparatory priest by the temple. In addition, I myself have applied to be transferred to the 308th Bronze Level Legion of the Azure Dragon Legion as a brigade inspector. How you said sincerely, with extreme excitement in his eyes.